Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tom Noby, and I'm the board chair of the JSI board, the Judson Services Incorporated board. Good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to Judson's 2025 annual meeting. And when I say everyone, I mean all of us who belong to Judson in one way or another. This includes our residents from all three campuses, our leadership team and associates who work tirelessly through this complex multi-campus place, our board and committee members, especially our new board members, family, friends, and special guests. We have a great turnout for this event today. It's wonderful. I'll be back in a little while to share a few thoughts. But first, I'm going to turn the podium over to our secretary, Chip Owerter, who is going to conduct some of the business of our business meeting.
Thanks, Tom. So as he said, I get to conduct the business portion before we get to the really exciting part of the meeting. So this is not the time to take a nap because there's a lot of procedural stuff and I need some of you to be voting on things. So try to stay tuned. So first on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from last year's annual meeting. In lieu of reading the minutes, which have been previously sent to all board members, I will now call for a motion for approval of the minutes as distributed.
So moved.
And do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. And those of you that said aye and didn't read the minutes that are not members of the board, I appreciate the support, but it's all right. So. The next order of business is the nominating committee report. The Board of Directors of Judson Services, Inc. hereby proposes the following resolutions. First, that the following people to be elected to serve as directors for JSI for the term ending at the annual meeting of JSI in 2028. So this would be a 3-year term. And this is really an exciting new additions to the board. So first is Ursula Doherty. Ursula previously served as Vice President of Business Development and Corporate Affairs at Penske Corporation, and thereafter served as Vice President of Investor Relations at Detroit Diesel Corporation. Ursula holds an MA in Political Science and an MBA from Case Western. Ursula retired from active business involvement in 2000 to pursue artistic goals in gold and silversmithing and Ikebana. Ursula and her husband, Eric Eichhorn, moved to Judson Manor in late 2022. Please join me in welcoming Ursula to the board. And I will have each of them stand after I've gone through all 5. So. Next is Eric Nilsson. Eric previously served as investment officer for Wells Fargo Advisors, focusing on asset management for individual investors. Eric has shared his teaching and guest lecturing talents at Wharton School of Business, Case Western, and at Oberlin. As a past trustee of WCN Cleveland Public Radio, he served as chair of the Finance Committee, and additionally, Eric served as past president and treasurer of Oberlin College Alumni Association and chief of the investment committee for Trinity Cathedral. Eric's parents are current residents at Judson Park. Welcome, Eric. The next is Anastasia Rowland Seymour. Dr. Rowland Seymour is an associate professor. This is going to take a long time to read all of these credentials. Is an associate professor in the Center for Medical Education, an associate professor in the Division of General Internal Medicine, and Associate Dean for Program Innovation and Educational Enhancements at Case Western School of Medicine. I think that means 3 jobs there. She also serves as Medical Director of the Post-Baccalaureate Readiness Instruction for Biomedical Education Program. Dr. Rowland Seymour is also a practicing physician at Metro Health in the Department of Internal Medicine. She has a passion for caring for the community and advancing physical practice. And welcome, Dr. Rowland Seymour. Another distinguished addition, Sam Steinhaus, graduated from the University of Michigan School of Business with a bachelor's in business administration. Go Blue. Yes, I went to Michigan also. I had to put that plug in. So He is a certified public accountant, and his work career has been split between large employers, closely held employers, and his own companies. Sam recently served as the Chief Financial Officer and Operations Manager for Hawkins School, where he oversaw 4 campuses serving over 1,500 students. Sam is currently a Managing Director with Inglewood Associates, where he leads the firm's Higher Education Service Group. And Sam is the Board Treasurer and Finance Committee Chair of the Cleveland Playhouse, and he is also the Board Chair of Breakthrough Public Schools. So please welcome Sam. And Mara Wilbur. Mara is a graduate from Denison University with a Bachelor of Arts. She holds a Master of Arts and Bioethics with the Case Western Reserve University, and a Juris Doctorate with Columbia Law School. Mara previously served as the Healthcare and Life Sciences Associate at Jones Day, advising stakeholders and nonprofit organizations on transactional and regulatory matters. She is currently the Associate General Counsel for Metro Health Systems, where she serves as the in-house corporate counsel. So welcome, Mara. So we will get on to the rest, but I wonder if, I think at least 4 of the 5, I know I met 4 of you, but could the 4 or 5 of you stand up? All right. So there's more here before you get to vote here. So the next resolution is the following people be re-elected as directors for JSI for term ending at the annual meeting of JSI in 2028. And that would be Thomas A. Noby, Mac Donnelly, and Samuel S. Hartwell. Second, that the following people be elected as officers of Judson Services, Inc. Tom Noby, Judy Bodenheimer, Rex Mason, J.P. Chip Allworder, Jim Vale, Tom Noby as the chair, excuse me, I should have said this, Judy Bodenheimer as the vice chair, Rex Mason as the treasurer, J. Chip Allworder as the secretary, and Jim Vale as the assistant secretary. Third, for the following people to be appointed to the executive committee at the JSI to serve alongside the officers of JSI for a term ending at the annual meeting of JSI in 2026. And that would be Tom Noby, Judy Bodenheimer, Rex Mason, Chip Allworder, Mac Donnelly, Sam Hartwell, the Very Reverend Tracy Lynn, Kevin Shaw, and Chris Smythe. Fourth, and this is the last one, so that the following people are appointed to the Audit Committee of JSI for a term ended at the annual meeting of JSI in 2026. J. Chip Allworder as the chair, Rex Mason, and Kevin Shaw. So with all that, may I have a motion to approve these resolutions?
So moved.
And can I have a second for that motion? Second. All in favor of the motion? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Boy, luckily I got in there. So, all right. The motion carries and the resolutions are approved. So now I'd like to welcome Tom back to the front. Thank you.
Thank you, Chip. Back again. So now, moving on, we would like to recognize our they're outgoing, but they're also leaving directors. Dr. Pamela Davis. Is Dr. Davis here? She couldn't be here. Anyway, Pam joined the JSI board in 2019 and has served 2 terms. During her tenure, she served as chair of the Quality Committee. Her expertise and insightful guidance ensured Judson's continue to meet the highest standards of care. A. Richard Moore, he's right here. Richard Moore joined the JSI board in 2024 and has served on the Quality Committee. We thank Richard for his service and partnership. Thank you, Richard. Doug Wang. What can I say, Doug? Doug joined the JSI board in 2013, serving as treasurer during his 2nd and 3rd terms. He returned to the JSI board in 2021 as the JSI vice chair, and then later chair from 2022 to 2024. During his tenure, Doug has been an active member of the Finance and Investment Committee, Home Care Board, Quality Committee, and Foundation Board. You ran the gamut pretty much. Although Doug is leaving the board, we can't quite let him go completely. So he's going to remain on the investment committee, which is a very key role, and we thank him for that. We thank you for your countless hours, your wisdom, your leadership, and passion for Judson's mission. Thank you, Doug. Thank you all who are leaving us. Robert Gillespie, as a newer resident of South Franklin Circle, Bob joined the JSI Board and Finance Committee in 2022. Bob's insight, steady guidance, and commitment to building financial strength have helped to support our mission. As many of you know, Bob recently passed away, and his warmth, integrity, and presence touched many lives. He will be missed. And finally, we'd also like to recognize our dear Don Kuhn, those of us who know Don from Judson Park. He was a Judson Home Care Board member who recently passed away. Resident Don Kuhn served as the long-standing Judson Park president of the Resident Association, along with joining the Judson Home Care Board in 2017. Don left a lasting impact on everyone he encountered, and we at Judson are deeply grateful for his contributions and legacy that will continue to inspire our mission. We also want to thank the outgoing members of the Judson Foundation Board. Their leadership, commitment, and passion have been instrumental in advancing our mission of bringing community to life through philanthropy. We will recognize these dedicated members at our next Judson board meeting, but I want to mention them by name. Tom Brick, is Tom here? There he is. Tom Brick, Sam Hartwell, I don't think Sam is with us. Roger Kallick, Gretchen Larson, who's here, and Bruce Lacine. Thank you all for your service on the Foundation Board. And now I'm going to invite Rex Mason up to talk about our financials. Grab this.
Thank you, Tom. I hope everybody can hear me. Okay, as treasurer of Judson and chairperson of the Finance Committee, it's my pleasure to present the financial results for 2024. I'm going to summarize those results pretty simply by saying that it was a good year with progress in many financial areas and with substantial capital expended to maintain and improve our campuses and improve the residents' experience. Our audit for 2024 has been completed. We completed it actually earlier this week and received a clean audit from our auditors. Before I can really discuss 2024 results, though, I need to return to 2023. That was the final year of COVID. The 2023 results were very favorably impacted by $4.6 million of stimulus funding that Judson received from the federal government, something that we didn't have in 2024. That $4.6 million was reflected through the 2023 P&L, resulting in revenue that exceeded expenses in 2023 of about $1.7 million for that year. On an apples-to-apples basis, the 2024 financial year therefore started with a $4.6 million shortfall versus 2023. How did we do? We actually increased revenue by approximately $400,000 in 2024 versus 23. That is, we more than offset that $4.6 million stimulus payment by performance on the revenue line. How did we do it? We rebuilt occupancy after COVID. Resident services increased by $3.8 million, and the amortization of entry fees from new residents moving into Judson grew by approximately $900,000. So very, very good performance on the revenue line, offsetting that $4.6 million stimulus shortfall. The fact that we offset the entirety of that made it a very good year on the revenue front. And as we look at 2025, as we sit here today, we should be even stronger as we go through this year, because we are already at a higher occupancy rate than at any point during 2024. So we're off to a good start this year. Expenses in 2024 increased by about $2.8 million to support the higher levels of occupancy during the year. We had a substantial increase in wages and benefits through the course of the year, utility costs, and a substantial increase in the use of outside services. These outside services were for professional staff, but also for things like HVAC support at some of the campuses. Both years saw gains in investments from the investments we have out in the marketplace. And when we put all the pieces together and compare 24 to 23, and when we eliminate any of those one-time items that were in one year and not the other, our financial performance showed an improvement of about $1.6 million in 2024 versus the prior year. The organization improved from a loss of $2.5 million in 23 when our occupancy was low to approximately a $900,000 loss in 24 as occupancy began to rebuild and as we made investments in services and benefits, et cetera, to gear up for the increase in occupancy. We are on a very good trajectory after COVID, and we have set the stage for a very good year in 25. Now, let's turn to the balance sheet for a minute. Our balance sheet is in very good shape. We have current assets today, cash, receivables, unrestricted reserves of about $19 million, and an additional $42 million in invested assets. So the balance sheet is strong. That financial strength has allowed us to make major capital investments over the last couple of years. Between 23 and 24, we invested more than $1.2 million in upgrades to our IT infrastructure. And I understand from Garrett that it's now all in and everybody's it's working, the TVs are working. It's great. And I know he's pleased. We spent an additional $1.4 million on Judson Park and Judson Manor elevators. We repaired and tuck-pointed roofs. We renovated the Judson Manor terrace and dining room. We replaced boilers. We installed LED lighting. And that's just naming a few of the projects that we undertook over the course of the last couple of years. In total, we spent $15.4 million in capital the last 2 years, split pretty equally between 23 and 24. The Judson organization has the financial strength to continue investing to bring community to life. Now, as we look at the coming year, the goal is to continue making progress on memory care. This is a big, major investment for our Judson organization, and one that we're planning carefully and evaluating. It's going to take substantial investment of resources to undertake something that has so much potential to transform and improve the Judson experience for all of our residents. We also measure ourselves financially. Well, we measure ourselves in terms of service to our residents against other continuing care retirement communities, or CCRCs, similar to Judson. The experience of our residents puts Judson in the top 10% of all CCRCs. Okay? In fact, our skilled care is in the top 0.5% of all skilled nursing facilities in the state of Ohio. That means we're in the top 5 out of 1,000. Okay? Our goal is to also benchmark our financial performance against other CCRCs and to strive to be in the top quartile in terms of financial performance. Today, we're in the top half, so we have some work to do. The Finance Committee is working with management to continue moving forward, moving toward that goal as we journey through 25 and through 26. So in summary, 2024 was a good year of financial results coming out of COVID. The income statement improved despite the absence of that government stimulus funding that we had in 23. And the balance sheet remains extremely strong and cash flow is solid. We have the resources in place to continue making the capital investments to maintain and improve the Judson experience for all of our residents. Thank you. Tom?
Thank you, Rex, for a very understandable report. So I'm just going to have a few more remarks, and then we'll move on to Kendra. So I think, based on what we've been hearing, we can all agree that Judson's a pretty special place. Our communities offer a setting where older adults can thrive, live with purpose, try new things, and continue engaging in activities they enjoy. At 119 years of age, so Judson is 119 years old, been around. Judson, as Rex just said, is financially healthy and strong. It's the envy of many other senior living communities, particularly in this Northeast Ohio area. Why the envy? Judson has and continues to be at the forefront of supporting, empowering older adults as they age. How does Judson do this? Through innovative practices, technologies, and models of care to ensure older adults receive the highest level of support tailored to their evolving needs. This is not the case in many senior communities. Our most recent example is the one that Rex just brought up, and that is the area of memory care, which is, we all know, extremely important for all of us. Our leadership team and board are looking at innovative and successful models, as Rex said, for taking care of our residents with memory issues. And we're looking at all campuses with this, recognizing that everyone, all of our residents, this is something that we need to be looking at. Judson sees innovation as more than a project. It's really a mindset. And we've embraced this as a way, all of us, as a way to better serve older adults. Judson's leadership team, along with Judson's associates, are always learning, always evolving, and striving for excellence in every aspect of successful aging. And much of this could not happen without the generation of our Judson residents, family members, and friends. We're talking about philanthropy. It remains more than ever the engine that powers good things in support of Judson's mission of bringing community to life. Finally, I just want to say that we are really excited about our new directors who we introduced. Ursel, Eric, Anastasia, Sam, and Mara. They are going to be a fantastic addition to the Judson Board of Directors. So to wrap up, I'll just say this. As board chair, I continue to be delighted by the spirit, the attitude, and the friendliness of Judson residents, staff, and board members. This is truly a unique and special place, and I look forward to serving in this role for another year. Thank you. And now I'll turn it over to Kendra.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And we have a full house. How wonderful is this? And thank you for the entire team for pulling more chairs in. Can everyone hear me in the back? Do we need to be a little bit louder? Okay, I will do my best. I will be eating the mic back here, holding it like a ice cream cone. I'm looking at Mrs. Garfield, as she has repeatedly said. So good afternoon, and thank you for being with us. It has been 8 years since we've been at the park for the annual meeting. I was floored when I thought back on that because of COVID. We had been rotating and then had a COVID break. So it's incredible to have you back here at Judson Park, and we're truly delighted to welcome you back to this beautiful campus. In recent years, Judson Park has seen a remarkable transformation. Strategic renovations and thoughtful design updates reflect not only our commitment to excellence, but also a deeper evolution in how we approach care, community, and wellness. After today's meeting, I encourage you to visit the newly developed Mansion Garden, an inclusive therapeutic outdoor space designed for residents at every level of independence. It's a space where nature, community, and wellness intersect. This garden was made possible through the extraordinary generosity of our residents, their families, and we are extremely grateful for that. I saw many of our residents and some of our community members head out to the garden, so if you have an opportunity and it's not raining, please stop out there. It's a beautiful space. I'd like to extend a special thank you to Tom McGraw and the entire team for hosting today's meeting and for every thoughtful detail that went into this day. I also want to acknowledge Christina Dunn, and there is Tom back there. I saw you pop in. Yes, let's give Tom and the team and the whole team a round of applause. I also want to acknowledge Christina Dunn, whose behind the scene works makes this happen every year the same. She just steps up, and I don't see her. Is she missing in action? Christina, if we can give Christina a round of applause as well. Every little detail. Today we honor Dr. Pam Davis, Richard Moore, and remember our dear friends, the late Bob Gillespie and Don Kuhn. Their leadership helped shape the Judson we know today. Their legacies are enduring, and their impact has been profound. A special note of thanks goes to Doug Wang. Again, sorry, Doug, I'm putting you back on the spot. As Tom had mentioned, he served on the JSI board since 2013, including roles as treasurer, vice chair, and chair. Doug's connection to Judson is deeply personal, with his father living at both South Franklin Circle and here at Judson Park. Doug, we thank you for your leadership, your vision, and your continued role on the investment committee. We're not letting you go. It's hard to leave the Judson board, isn't it? Very, I know, we tie him, but he'll be working with other organizations, civic organizations in Northeast Ohio. But thank you, Doug, for all of your leadership on the board over the last several years. If we can get Doug one more round of applause. And to all our dedicated board members, your experience, your guidance, your philanthropic support makes Judson stronger every day. Thank you for your steadfast belief in our mission. I am also thrilled to welcome our newest JSI board members, Ursula Doherty, Eric Nilsson, Dr. Anastasia Rowland Seymour, Sam Steinhaus, and Mara Wilbur, who are much of all who are here today. We look forward and are excited for your new perspectives in bringing them to Judson. Together, our board and committees spanning finance, quality, memory care, marketing, home care, and there's many more, ensure that Judson remains forward-thinking, financially sound, and focused on exceptional service. Thank you for your time, your commitment, and your partnership. To the executive committee, Tom, Judy, Rex, Chip, Kevin, Chris, Sam, Tracy, and Doug, that's a mouthful. Thank you for your strong leadership. Your counsel and your generosity have helped us embrace new opportunities, advance cutting-edge memory care, explore technologies like robotics, virtual reality, and maintain a strong foundation for Judson's future. To our nearly 450 associates, Judson, from across our organization, I thank them as well, and I'm sorry they can't. I know some of them are in the back. Wonderful, wonderful, many of our associates. Our residents, yes, please give them a round of applause. Your commitment to compassionate, personalized care is the soul of our community, and it truly is. Our residents know they are seen, known, and valued because of you. And each year, their generous support of the Associate Holiday Fund reflects just how much they appreciate your dedication. I'd like to also recognize our outstanding leadership team, Cindy Strock, Jessica Kolzicki, Bill Fehrenbach, Diana Huckstein, Suzanne Bloomfield, Beth Ambrescia, Tom McGraw, Garrick Lipscomb, Megan Sisler, and our newest leader out at South Franklin Circle is Executive Director Nancy Satula. If you could please stand. Team. Thank you for your exceptional leadership and service. Our residents also deserve recognition, not just for their presence, but for their purpose. Through committees, volunteerism, and leadership, they truly bring community to life. Thank you to Bennett Brown. I saw you in the back there, Bennett, John Schneider, and Bill Leatherberry for your work on the Resident Association as presidents of those resident associations. And to all of our volunteers, many of whom are residents themselves, your contributions make a lasting impact. Philanthropy remains essential to Judson. Every donor plays a vital role in sustaining our programs, enriching our communities, and building a future where older adults thrive. We are especially grateful to our 1906 Legacy Society members, whose planned gifts will shape Judson's next 100 years. We honor the generosity of Alexander Cook, Nancy Gorenchek, and Jenny Bemberg, whose bequests this past year continued their legacy. Our Inspire magazine, arriving soon in your mailboxes, highlights just how powerful that generosity can be, from art to music to lifelong learning. The magazine will share the story of the late Richard Zakin, whose endowed fund supports ceramics, as well as the Rose Creative Art Studio, and the Oldenburg family, whose music endowment will bring music to Judson for years. As I reflect on 2024, I am proud of the meaningful strides we have made in strengthening our organization and preparing for a vibrant future. Together, we are focused on building a strong, stable workforce, recognizing that our associates are the heart of our mission. Through investments in recruitment, retention, and our professional development program, we are laying the groundwork for retaining dedicated and compassionate caregivers. I am pleased to share that our most recent associate engagement survey shared that 76% of our associates were fully engaged in the organization. That is a powerful indicator of a healthy, motivated workforce. Our associates shared throughout the process that they felt a sense of purpose and commitment to you, our residents. This level of engagement directly translates to higher quality of care, a strong sense of community, which is essential to fulfilling our mission. With the input of residents, associates, and the board, we have laid the foundation for a forward-looking strategic plan, one that aligns with our updated core values, embraces innovation, and ensures that we're shaping the future for a transformative aging experience, one that residents define with the support of many Judson services and programs. We are creating engaging environments that foster connection, creativity, and comfort, spaces that support our values and care philosophy, and where residents can truly thrive. Our commitment to comprehensive living ensures a holistic approach to several dimensions of well-being that honors individual needs and preferences while exploring and understanding each resident's lifestyle goals. Above all, we continue to lead in transformative aging, embracing innovation, inclusivity, and bold reimagining of what it means to age well, no matter where you live. As I look to the future, our focus remains on our strategic priorities, grounded in our core values of accountability, belonging, collaboration, communication, innovation, and integrity. These values guide us in every decision, interaction, and the work that we do. These values are more than just words. They are the foundation of our culture and the compass for our future. Now, please join me in viewing a short video that brings to life our core values and many of our team that are in this room today that embody those every day.
The core values at Judson are basically our philosophy of how we do what we do in our business and our practices, and our expectations of our associates that help us to accomplish our goals and to meet our mission.
And as we roll out the core values, I want to talk about accountability and what it means to me. The majority of my staff, and there's 17 employees, it ranges from 10 years to 43 years of staying. We're not going anywhere. We're down for the fight. COVID hit us hard. Not one time did anyone have to call off unless they caught COVID. We came in as a team, we worked as a team. That's what makes Judson strong.
Belonging to me means inclusion. The Judson team has a way of putting their arms around people and making them feel included. When I came to Judson, everybody here helped me to feel like this was a family and not just a job. It helps me to reach out to others, and I want them to feel what I feel.
One of the things that's been remarkable is the collaboration that I found among the other staff people. The person that I've worked with primarily is Christine. I cannot imagine any department being more helpful to me. Doug in particular is the one that I've worked for the last several years, and he is terrific. Whatever ideas I bring to him, he follows through. He is so concerned about having everything right.
The core value communication, what that means to me is that it helps us build a strong relationship with our residents, family members, team members, and it also helps us foster information and ideas that maybe other people had not thought about. I think that it's going to make us stronger as an organization if we continue to communicate, and also it will hopefully, help the residents to have a better quality of life.
Well, one of our core values is innovation, and that is new ideas, it's curiosity, it's what's new. There are many different partnerships and collaborations that we have with people all over the world. There are new apps, there are new robots, different things that we can wear so that we can help the resident be cued. Are they drinking enough? Have they taken their medicine? So it's kind of embracing technology to work with us to offer a variety of different things for seniors to function as autonomously as they possibly can.
I believe that integrity at its core is doing for others when no one else is looking. You are still carrying that integrity when no one else is around. What you're doing for the residents, what you're doing for your fellow employees, how they can count on you in telling the truth, being responsible, and just carrying that integrity in that way. There is hope for giving those who are there at the last part of their life, that we can give them something to have the best of the rest of their life. That's what Judson means to me, that we are giving them the best of the rest of the life.
I've given Judson half my life. I've been here 30 years plus. And I feel that Judson has rewarded me with such experiences. I will always be, so to speak, an ambassador for Judson. In terms of waking up every day and thinking, what is the purpose? Why am I here today? Okay, what am I gonna do? Judson helps me answer that question.
Not much to follow that when you're talking about the team and our residents, but you all should have received when you walked in our new core values that we have shared with you, so you will have those. But whether it's in the compassion and dedication shown by our associates, which you saw in the video, or a thoughtful leadership of the board, or the spirit of engagement of our residents, these values unite us in our shared purpose. They shape how we support one another, how we lead with integrity, and how we continue to build a community where everyone feels seen, heard, and welcome. Innovation is a core value at Judson, not just in technology, but in our thinking. Our new memory care neighborhood is a testament to this, offering tools like somatic wearables, artificial intelligence enhanced safety systems, the magic table Tovertoffel, and the immersive virtual reality, all supporting autonomy, engagement, and dignity for individuals living with dementia. Through strategic partnerships, including with CASE, which we'll learn about today, and Navigate Technologies, we are helping to pioneer the future of care for older adults, including the development of an artificial intelligence-powered robot named Ruyi, designed to support aging adults in entirely new ways. Before you learn about Ruyi, which unfortunately he's not physically here today, he's still stuck somewhere overseas, he's making his way here. I want to thank all of you, each of you, board members, residents, families, and associates. Together you form the vibrant tapestry of our mission. You inspire us to lead with integrity, embrace innovation, and redefine what it means to age well. Thank you. So as we transition to, I'm the last thing that holds you from learning about Ruyi. We'll invite Cindy and Peter and Diana to the stage to learn about the art of empathy and the future of care through robotics. So Peter, if you don't mind coming forward as well, and I will begin to share a little bit of background about Peter. Peter Whitehouse, MD, PhD, has a primary appointment as professor of neurology with secondary positions as professor of psychiatry, cognitive science, neuroscience, and organizational behavior, and former appointments but current interests in psychology, bioethics, history, and nursing at Case Western Reserve University. He is also currently professor of medicine at the University of Toronto and incoming fellow at Harris Manchester College, University of Oxford, and president of the Intergenerational Schools International. He received his undergraduate degree from Brown University and MD, PhD psychology from the Johns Hopkins University, with PhD work at Harvard and Boston Universities, followed by a fellowship in neuroscience and psychiatry, neurology residency, and faculty appointments at Hopkins. He has served in national and international leadership positions in neurology, geriatrics, and public health. In 1999, Peter founded, with his wife, Catherine, the Intergenerational School, a unique public, multi-age community school in Cleveland, which we partnered with for many years. He is a serial social innovator with a focus on learning environments. He is the author and editor of hundreds of academic papers, book chapters, and multimedia projects, ranging from genetics and cognitive neuroscience to clinical issues to community and public health and ethics and humanities. Welcome, Peter. And I don't know anyone who doesn't know Cindy Struck, who is our Vice President of Health Services and Chief Collaborative Health Officer for Judson. So prior to joining Judson in 2018, she served as the President of Home Care, Hospice, Palliative Care Services for Summa Health System. She previously held many roles at VNA Healthcare Partners of Ohio, with her last position as Chief Operating Officer. Cindy has more than 45 years of healthcare experience. You don't look old enough, Cindy, including clinical, quality, and operational leadership with a focus in fiscal accountability. Cindy received her master's and PhD from Case Western Reserve in health services research from the medical school. Cindy is also a certified advanced practice nurse. She has been actively involved in state and national organizations, advocating for healthcare services, and serves locally in Cleveland on the Center for Dialysis Care Board as the chair of Medical Services Committee and the Quality Committee for the VNA of Ohio. So I will turn it over after this distinguished group to Cindy as well, to Diana to moderate a discussion between Peter and Cindy.
Okay, thank you very much. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, well, it's exciting to share the stage with these two, of course, hearing all of their backgrounds and information. But I'm Diana Huckstein, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Judson, and I will be the moderator today, sharing innovation and our collaboration with Case Western, and sharing a lot more information about Ruyi the Robot, which there's been lots of conversation around. So we'll go ahead and get started. Cindy, can you grab the mic, please? So we're just going to have some questions and conversation around innovation and our partnership and collaboration with Case Western, and how we're playing an active role with this development with Ruyi the Robot. So Peter's going to begin. Tell us about the long-standing innovative collaborative relationship with Judson, and why Judson for this project.
So I just want to say how exciting it's been.
It's not on. It was.
How's that in the back row?
Better?
I'll eat this strawberry ice cream.
Yes, please enjoy.
So I just want to say how exciting it's been to be here so far for this meeting. I haven't been in this room for probably 3 or 4 years, and it's just remarkable to see many things, not the least of which is how you've come through COVID, which did disrupt our relationships with the intergenerational schools, and that's what I would actually highlight the greatest success. We shared the Eisner Prize, which is the prize for intergenerational programming, and it's absolutely remarkable how much Judson has done during that time period. So let me just say that I actually started with Judson with Norm Townsend. How many of you know that name? Mm-hmm. He was the executive director before Cindy. That goes back to when I was half the age that I am now, about 35 years ago. And it just was, from the very beginning, a special place that we wanted to do work with over the time, and we've done that. The last time that I was actually at the Manor was I think developing a course, a participatory course with residents from Judson that actually Tracy was a part of, called Wising Up, Designing a Course for the Future, which included a variety of elements, including technology, and thinking about how we might develop improved care with a real sensibility to what it means to provide care, which brings us to the challenge of robots.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my journey with Judson, and I'm so delighted to be here.
We've had such a wonderful, long-standing relationship with you, for sure. So we welcome you again back to our stage. Okay, next question for you, Peter. From a local and international standpoint, how do you see robotics transforming healthcare for older adults?
So we were very disappointed that Ruyi is stuck probably in Heathrow on his way from Pakistan. We were promised delivery April the 28th. So I said I would bring a robot of a different kind. This is actually probably the most popular robot for companionship and caring in the world, produced by the country of Japan starting in the year 2000. This is Paro. And the original work that we did on robots, Paro is a harp seal. And the story of Paro is that Sony, the company, developed one of the first commercially available robots called Aibo, which is the one we work with. But it was an awfully awkward dog that nobody would really fall in love with. So actually, the engineer from Tokyo went to MIT, where he got the idea of a harp seal. So this is a warm, cuddly robot. So you can see already that robots take many forms, and in Japan, which has been the country that has done the most work on robots, they have big robots to help transfer people. They have fuzzy robots like this to provide companionship. And they have another robot called Pepper, which does exercises and converses. So what we wanted to try to do was to put some of these elements together and ask, where are robots possibly going to find a place for care in today and in the future? Recognizing that this is not, this has been a challenge to introduce robots in Japan, but also recognizing, as Tom said, that you can't put down the New York Times, or you can't look at the New York Times or some other tactical magazine and not see a robot that does amazing things. They can jump, they can play chess, they can play Go, particularly when incorporated with artificial intelligence. But the question is, can they provide and assist in care?
That's the exciting part of sharing about robots coming in different shapes and sizes, but really being able to talk about Ruyi from an empathetic perspective, which Sydney's going to start to share a little bit more about the story. Can you share the story behind how this robotics grant was developed and who the key partners are involved?
Yeah, so I think it's such a great opportunity that we sit in Cleveland and we're near Case Western Reserve, because there's always a lot of innovation and a lot of opportunity, and we have so many relationships we build. But it started out with the College of Arts and Science, the School of Business, Weatherhead, and then certainly the medical school. And then we were fortunate enough to be part of that whole development and that project here at Judson to be the pilot site. So I think when you think about it, it's that opportunity to see how a robot not only can be a caregiver, but how it will interact with and use artificial intelligence. So when you think about that today, how many of you might ask Alexa or Siri, what's the weather today? What time is it? And after a little while, she'll say to you, do you want to know the time and weather every morning? And so she's beginning to build a relationship. And I say she because that's the voice that Siri or Alexa has. And so I think we're trying to see how that would happen. And so we're very fortunate. Two of our partners are here. Phil Cola, who's working on the project with us. Stefan Emanuelis could not be here today. And then Susan Nader is helping us too. She's in the back, our Charlene Phelps collaborative educator. So pulling all the partners together. And then we're very lucky, and then of course Peter, we know.
Josh Gurley.
Oh, I didn't see Josh. He's our researcher too. I'm sorry. And then Dr. Rashid, who owns a company called Navigate, which is out of California. He was a graduate of Case Western Reserve School of Business Management, Weatherhead, and has been developed a company that's really founded robotics research across the United States, and he has quite a team that's working out of Pakistan. In fact, our engineering team who developed Ruyi was from Pakistan. So that whole international joining has been happening every Friday we meet, and we're just thinking about how is this going to work, how all of you could be partners with us, and will it help to serve some of the needs we have for caregiving and support.
Yeah, it's exciting to see this come together. And Cindy's going to start to get into some of the key design aspects of the robot, including how its appearance and functionality were tailored to meet specific needs of older adults and associates. And she'll share a little bit more about the name. There's all kinds of questions around Ruyi's name too, so she'll share that.
So just like when you meet a friend, you want to have a good facial recognition. You want to know who you're meeting, who you're talking to. So we thought a lot about how that robot looks, what that face looks like. Is it a friendly face? Is it going to be engaging and interactive? Sort of the body style. If you see a lot of, robots, they look kind of like computers on a wheelie device. We didn't want it to look like that. And then also how it would build relationships, because again, this isn't a robot that's just going to be there, but it has to learn that resident, that person's interactions, their likes. It has to learn how to move about in an apartment, not trip over carpeting. And again, we're talking about the safety of the robot as well as the resident. How is it going to be able to navigate the apartment, and how will it begin to help that person in those activities of daily living? Much like Siri or Alexa gives us some guidance, this would be a much more interactive opportunity. And so you hear about the name Ruyi, and it could be spelled R-U-I or R-U-Y. I think of Cindy with a Y or Cindy with an I. It has a couple different names, but Ruyi is a very non-gender name in sort of Asian culture, and it's rooted very strongly in being a compassionate support person. And so that term of being compassionate and supportive really fits the name of Ruyi. So it was great that our engineering team from Pakistan thought about that. But again, it lends itself, across the world as a name that's very supportive, wants to be part of things, and really is kind of a non-gender. So we're kind of excited to introduce Ruyi a little bit later today, and you'll see how engaging Ruyi can be.
We'd love to learn more about Ruyi's name, just because it really showcased the collaboration of our team and partners in really thinking thoughtfully about the name and the deep meaning of it. So that was really exciting to hear more about that. And then before we see the video of Ruyi, Cindy, how do you envision the robot interacting with residents daily? I think that's on everyone's mind in this room.
Yeah.
And what data or outcomes are we aiming to collect? How will this actually work?
Yeah, we'll find out. So we'll need all of our persons at Judson to, be part of our research project. But, in working with the team, we envisioned very early on that the robot would spend maybe an hour and a half with a resident in their apartment. We would be there kind of watching that, but we're going to see how does the resident do, and then how does Ruyi do? Is Ruyi interacting like we think Ruyi's going to? It's all been simulated kind of in a lab right now, so we don't know what it's going to look like and do. I think we're thinking about sort of three sort of areas. Can Ruyi help with tasks. So could he help remind, and I've given him a he name, and it could be non-gender, I'll just use that pronoun he, but can he help a person remember maybe to take their medication, remember that they have an exciting concert they want to go to in the afternoon, maybe a medical appointment. We're also looking, could he do some observations, sort of note maybe a person's not feeling as well today, maybe not drinking as much water, maybe not eating, maybe walking a little bit differently, so the balance off. So will Ruyi be able to detect some of that? And then also building engagement, just like a friend. So when you meet your next door neighbor, the first thing you probably ask is, where did you come from? Where did you live? Those kind of things. You can just, that's fine. Where did you live? Those kind of things. And so as the person interacts with Ruyi, as our residents do, can a relationship actually be built? So I think those are some of the important things. And I think with that, Peter and I are really excited to show on behalf of all of our team, Ruyi in action.
Yes.
You'll have a simulated video here.
So welcome, Ruyi.
This is Jane. She's independent, full of life, and has lived a story that deserves to be told. As we age, it's natural for memory and routine to shift a little, especially when life gets quieter. That's where Ruyi comes in.
Jane, last time you told me about your first classroom in Pittsburgh. You said the chalkboards were too tall and the radiator made strange noises. Should we pick up where we left off?
Oh, don't get me started. That part came a little later. Let me think. Yes, it was the year they made me teach both math and music. Poor kids. My piano playing didn't impress anyone.
Sounds like a plot twist. Shall we add that to your story?
Absolutely. That chapter needs a title. The Year I Faked My Way Through Music Class.
With Ruyi, Jane isn't just reminiscing. She's co-writing her life story. Together, they're building a digital memoir full of laughter, milestones, and meaning.
How does this one end? Incomplete.
The Browns lost again. I don't know why I even watch.
That's why we stick with the Steelers, right?
Exactly. Once a fan, always a fan.
Want to play game day guess? Here's one from 1979. Can you remember what happened in this play?
Oh, wow. That was the year we won the Super Bowl. Let me think.
Ruyi shares Jane's passions and turns favorite memories into fun cognitive games. It's not therapy, it's friendship, and a great way to stay sharp.
Jane, I noticed you had a fall. Are you all right? Would you like me to call someone to check on you?
I'm okay, I think. But yes, maybe call someone just in case.
All right, I'll let the team know now. They'll be here shortly.
Ruyi doesn't watch. Ruyi looks out. When something happens, it gently checks in and only takes action if it's wanted. No recording, no surveillance. Just calm, respectful support when it's truly needed.
Jane, I've noticed you've been drinking less water than usual. How about a little drink to stay feeling good?
Without wearables or apps, Ruyi notices subtle changes and surfaces early signs, giving staff a chance to act before small shifts become serious. For Jane, Ruyi is more than a robot. It's a thoughtful partner. For Judson and its residents, it's peace of mind, deeper care, and everyday moments made meaningful.
This is what Ruyi looks
like. So, I think it's so great to realize, we had such an international group work on this, and, our engineers from Pakistan, through ideas, came up with such creative examples of how, Ruyi could work to be able to show that to, you today. So I think thanks to the team, and we're really excited.
Yes, because, it's Chrissy Crop for What's very unique about Ruyi is we have a lot of devices that can come into a resident's home, whether it's a wearable or different things like Alexa and things that we've referenced, to see this come together into a unique piece that is very interactive. It can learn empathy and really be part of a resident's life is pretty groundbreaking. So we're very excited about that. So the next phase of Ruyi, as we're going to talk about, it's been in a very conditioned environment, learning different tasks that we needed to learn, and now it's our opportunity to really test it with residents. So once Ruyi arrives, and it will arrive, we'll have this opportunity for testing. So Stacey's going to talk a little bit about the next steps from the perspective of pilot research and what that looks like here at Judson.
So for all of you, and we're targeting more of our independent living residents at Judson and our hillside residents to start, because you all live in an apartment. But what we would need is you to volunteer to be part of our research study and help us understand and make improvements to Ruyi and see how it all works. So we're going to have an informational session on May 14th at 1 p.m. here at Judson Park in the auditorium, where you can learn a little bit more how you might want to volunteer. Part of that initial phase, before we even get Ruyi into your apartment, we'll be doing some focus groups, trying to understand a little bit more from each of you. How do you feel about a robot? What kinds of things do you think you would like a robot to do? Just getting some general thoughts and feelings. We'll also be asking family members, so we'll be reaching out to some of the family members of our Judson residents, and then also our staff, because we all know we're a little bit challenged every day in meeting everyone's needs and trying to think about how Ruyi not only will help you, but will help us take better care. So there'll be really several focus groups, and we'll be part of that whole research process. So anything, Peter, you wanted to comment?
A couple things about the importance of your participation in this. The reason Ruyi is somewhat unique is that Ruyi is important for watching about gait. It's a pattern recognizer. It recognizes patterns in your story. It recognizes patterns in how you get around and you're walking, and it detects differences and if those patterns are disturbed, and then tries to come in and help. So you can't see it in the body. It's there, but it's got LiDAR, it's got cameras, it's got microphones. It's really quite sophisticated. Probably most importantly, though, as you saw in the story, it knows about you, and you tell things about it, about yourself to it, so that it can co-construct a story if that's one of the things you'd like to do. But here's why your engagement is really important. There was a book written by a CEO of Sony in Japan called Robots Will Save Japan. And that's because some of you may be quite aware, Japan does not have a lot, it has an aging population and doesn't have a lot of younger folks, doesn't have a lot of people from other countries that can provide care. So they were really looking for robots to provide that role. The book I just finished reading is Robots Will Not Save Japan. Because they've invested trillions of dollars in this process. And there are some fundamental problems that they've had that I think we can really work together to try to rectify. One is, and this is a tendency that I think we can all recognize from our own lives, sometimes engineers go off and do something clever they think is clever, and they don't talk to the people who might actually use the product. And in this case, it's not only the residents, it's also the staff. So that, as Cindy said, the staff engagement with this, because basically the staff abandoned the robots in Japan. They found that the robots provided less help and were more of a burden. So what's really important in our process is those focus groups and those trial periods and feedback from you, because this robot is very much still an idea. It's going to have a body, but that body can change, and it's a collaborative process that I think really fits well with Judson's spirit of innovation and collaboration.
Absolutely. It's a real opportunity for everyone in this room and all of the residents and associates here at Judson to really shape the future of Ruyi and the robot, and especially from our perspective of being in the forefront of innovation. So we're very excited to sit at the seat to work collaboratively to really impact the future of care, and we're excited to see where that leads us. So we have some time for some questions before we wrap up. So basically, one of the things we wanted to pitch out is, as you kind of think about interaction with a robot, is what types of things would you be interested in learning about, or questions that you might have for Peter and Cindy as well, and Kendra will come around with the microphone. Any questions? Yes, Kendra is on her way.
How are you able to tell if the person using the robot is really telling you the truth? I mean, the robot might say, "How are you feeling?" And the robot says, the person says, "Oh, I'm fine," and they really aren't fine.
That's a great question.
That happens every day.
That's a great question.
I think persons aren't honest, always with our team either taking care. I think it's just going to be an interaction over time. Not only is we believe, we won't know till we see it, but not only do we believe that the robot will be interacting with questions, but it's going to watch that person too. So sometimes we know, and much like if you're taking care of small children, you can look right at their face and something's wrong with them without even saying anything. You just know your child's sick, and so it's kind of the same thing, I think, with our residents. Somebody will say to me, "No, I'm fine. Don't worry about me, don't bother me," and you just look and So, there's subtle changes in maybe their activity, their face, their patterns, maybe they slept in this morning and they never do that. So I think, we hope with artificial intelligence, it'll pick up on those same subtle cues that you're so good at with your own family members. You just kind of know something's not right today. So we hope.
Cindy,
Gotcha.
The way you're speaking, you're looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
Is the robot going to go to all 3 campuses or live here? Do you want people from each campus, or what's the deal on it?
Yeah, so we're going to start with Judson Park, just because our research team is close and we just need to get our arms wrapped around it. But I think our hope is to expand. We're already looking at some funding for additional research for next year, even thinking about could the robot, and again, we know very little how it's going to work, but could I'm going to call him a he for my pronoun, could he be successful in a group interaction too? So lots of opportunities, but we're going to start at Judson first.
I have a question.
You mean Judson Park? Oh.
Judson Park, yes, I'm sorry, I'm not.
There's a question in the back, and she'll be back to the front.
I have a question about, would this be something that the resident or the family would request from you? And these things are really expensive, and would that be like an additional cost for you to have a robot?
So there is actually no cost to having a robot because this is part of a research study. In fact, we will be paying you to be involved in the research study. So you'll actually, be volunteering, signing what we call informed consent. So it's important if you're going to be involved in research, you have to know what you're going to be doing, but there actually will be some reimbursement. So again, totally research, totally free. Remember with research too, at any point in time, if you're uncomfortable, you can always, back out of it. So, you're not stuck forever, but we hope we'll get volunteers.
Cindy, sorry.
No, go right ahead.
As you know, my wife is in memory
Yes.
care at South Franklin Circle, and I've just been so impressed with how kind and good the whole team has been. And I'm just wondering, do we think that there are ways in which memory care can be facilitated
I just don't know.
Yeah, so I think our goal is to use it more in persons that are in independent living. However, we know a lot of us, and maybe even all of us, start to have some cognitive decline as we age. So we're hoping to test it in persons with, just more of that milder memory kinds of things. We all forget things every day. We're all not, right on as we wish we all were every single day. So I think that's what we're thinking. Again, we don't know like the evolution, right? And Peter might have more thoughts.
I think it's a very good question, a very good opportunity. You saw some of that when they actually said this is not reminiscence therapy, although it was, looking at Pittsburgh Steelers and Browns and talking about when she was a teacher. So if the robot really can interact and build a story by going backwards in time, then I think that will be part of it. But there's also a whole vast industry, if I could call it that, of brain fitness games, and that's quite controversial. Luminosity is one that you may have heard about that's advertised quite frequently. So, Jolly D, that's great strawberry. So there's a vast opportunity for the robot to be doing things that might be seen as trivial, playing memory games and so on, or actually quite beneficial. There's research to suggest that we can head in that direction.
Thank you.
Would that robot stay with you day and night, or just during the day?
No, so we're going to start. The question was, would the robot be there day and night? So initially, we're going to start with like short visits, maybe a few hours, as we kind of work through this and hopefully see how it goes. We would like to try some overnight experiences, but we won't know how it's going to work yet. So that is our goal, though.
Watching like the Pittsburgh Steelers scene on Ruyi's face, whatever the robot can reminisce about with the patient or with the resident has to be fed into it. So how do you plan in the research to get all these memory banks established so it can be personalized for the person they are with?
I mean, I think it will occur with interaction, with the person, by the person saying, I like the Pittsburgh Steelers, or I love the Terminal Tower in Cleveland. Do I know the whole engineering behind it? And maybe you're better at answering that question. And again, I don't know. We won't know because, again, this is sort of a very simulated environment, and we love that we met every single week we meet, and, we talk with the team and we think about things, but I don't think we'll know, right?
I think this comes back to the family as well, though, because the way to learn somebody's story is to ask them and ask family members, and to do that jointly. We developed a project called Lifebook, which was designed before artificial intelligence, before robots, to essentially create the opportunity for a book to exist that shared the life of that person. Often you will have it in a photo album, but favorite videos, and here's an example that I think is really important we haven't mentioned so far: music. Some of you may have heard of the music program that was featured in a film called Alive Inside, where you create your own individual playlist when you're able to do that and know what you like. And if you do develop some memory challenges, then you can actually play music that you may not yourself not remember. And in fact, what's interesting about music is you can go back in time, because frequently people will enjoy music that they might have liked when they were younger. So having your life through music is just one example of how you could have that stored in the computer, and the computer might be able to pick the right song at the right moment and personalize it that way.
I think about the book we have in the lobby where we have residents, pictures and a lot of the things that they like and dislike and, and so we use a lot of that. I mean, I just laugh because I was just to the Journey concert down in Cleveland for the Browns draft. And I said, it brought me right back to 1973. I thought I was back there, even though none of the band looked the same. So he's right about the memory.
Yes. Oh, we have one last question.
There's another part of the Judson community, the community of Judson at Home.
Yes.
And I wondered if you would consider at some point piloting with some of us who strive to remain at home and be a part of the community.
Yeah, so the question was, Judson at Home residents, and would we think about that? We did, we had a wearable device. I know that we piloted with one Judson at Home resident who volunteered, and we also piloted it out at South Franklin Circle. So I think depending how this goes, I think the idea is to try to see how it could be in a less controlled environment. But we wouldn't forget about that opportunity because that has a great opportunity. As we know, there's a large group of seniors who may never move into a community but want to be supported, connected to a community like Judson. And that is a very thoughtful thing to think about as well.
Well, Cindy and Peter, I want to thank you both very much for giving us a glimpse about Ruyi. I think everyone here very excited.
And then our team.
Thank you all for sharing that. Cindy and Peter will be available at the conclusion of today's annual meeting. So if you have additional questions, we also have a sign-up sheet at the back of the room if you are interested in participating in the pilot and learning more about that process as well. So thank you, and I'll hand it back to Tom.
I think the sign-up's actually down by the mailbox because that's where everyone goes. So if you want to sign
we'll direct you to where the sign-up is.
Okay. Lastly, and again, thank you so much. And again, where else but at Judson would we be sitting here listening to this kind of innovation? I don't think there's a whole lot of places around Northeast Ohio where we would be witnessing this kind of collaborative research. We're very, very fortunate. So finally, I just want to say something on the behalf of the foundation again. The foundation, we extend our deepest gratitude towards our generous donors who passionately invest in what we see today, in bringing our community to life through philanthropy. Your support is more than a gift. It's a powerful commitment to enriching the lives of older adults through vibrant environments, transformational aging experiences, and holistic approach to health and well-being. You are our partners, ambassadors, and cherished members of the Judson family. With every contribution, you help create spaces where purpose is nurtured, stories are honored, and community thrives. Thank you for believing in our vision and for making such a meaningful difference in the lives of those we serve. Thank you. And now I would like a motion to adjourn this meeting. And before we do have the motion, just so you all know, outside in the area, there's refreshments, mingling, talking to each other, talking to these brilliant folks up here on the dais. So make sure you take advantage of that. Now, can I have a motion to adjourn? So moved by second? Second. All those in favor? Anybody can say aye. Thank you.
Thank you.